My work as a coach centers almost exclusively around getting people from where they are right now to where they want to be in the future. So it's really taking a look at what are the actual actions, what are the practices that you're going to have to take on to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And a lot of times the things that we're looking at creating are things that are very much so outside of people's comfort zones. So they're brand new careers, they're brand new experiences of a particular relationship that they haven't had before. And so when the result is outside of their comfort zone, the actions or the practices to get there are also going to be outside of their comfort zones. And the thing that I know to be true, that I see time and time again, is when we're left to our own devices as people, when we come up against something that's uncomfortable, an action that there's some fear involved or a practice that causes some discomfort, our tendency is to not take the action. Our tendency is to actually stay comfortable because we as humans like stability. We like homeostasis. Even if it's something that is causing a low level of pain, for example, like being in a job that you don't like very much. Most people will stay with that because it's a known discomfort than taking the action required to go out and do something, because it's an unknown action. We don't actually know what's going to happen once we go out and take that action. And so the thing that I know to be true is when we look at actually taking really massive action that's going to have impact in our lives, we need to couple that action with accountability structures that are actually going to support us in going out and creating those things. And when I say accountability structures, what I mean are external things to us that are going to make us more likely to take the action we said that we're committed to creating. So on the low end, it's a spectrum. On the low end, we could look at things like putting a post-it note on your bathroom mirror to remind you to do something, or having a printed visual display on the door right before you leave every morning to remind you to do some particular thing. In the middle, we could have putting in reminders on your calendar or putting reminders on your phone. And on the high end, which is the thing that I would suggest where everybody take a look, is actually including other people in our process. Because once we tell someone that we're committed to doing something, it becomes real. If we don't tell anyone, it's not that big of a deal if we don't do it because nobody knows. But if we include someone else in the process, we then feel obligated. We feel like we have a relationship. We owe something to this person, which makes us so much more likely to actually go out and take the action. So that could be, partnering. For example, I'm partnering with somebody right now around accountability for taking particular marketing actions. And one of the things that we're in the process of setting up is, if we don't meet our commitments for a particular week, we're going to send each other checks, physical checks for money, and if we don't meet our commitments, then the other person is allowed to cash the check. So I've included another person in my accountability for taking action that I know is necessary for creating what I want, and I've added another layer, the piece around money and cashing a check. But this could also be something a little bit less serious, like just including a friend, or it could even be hiring a coach, having somebody who's there, who's a third-party objective perspective, who is going to support you in holding you accountable for going out and doing those particular things. And would love to hear, what have you tried in terms of accountability that's worked for you? Go ahead and drop it in the comment box below. Feel free to DM me. Would love to hear what's working or what's not working.